Okay, welcome. Good morning, everybody. We have today Arnab Bhattacharya with us. He's MD of Savii. Savii is a Philippines-based giant that delivers earned wage access and fintech solutions to corporates. Previously, Arnab has been into leadership roles with multiple startups and worked with banks like Citibank, etc. So, just a quick introduction about me. I'm Pramey. I'm co-founder and CEO at Tartan. We are building Tartan with a very, very big mission with a social purpose to help millions of people that are also workforce in India and globally. And we are helping them become financially healthier and have a very happy work life. And we understand the pain of HR to deliver holistic benefits that just compensation and basics they're dealing with is not good enough anymore, and even more so after post-COVID era. So today we have Arnab to discuss with us about the need of employee benefits and what can be a holistic strategy to work with as an employer. So thank you, Arnab, for joining us.
Thanks, Pramey. I appreciate the invitation and for the opportunity. Thank you.
Great. So I'm going to start with, how important is for today organizations to have a holistic benefit strategies outside of salaries and ESOPs, etc., even in a startup. And as part of your organizations currently and previously, what are the strategies that you have seen that work, as part of employee benefits and more so even post COVID?
Yeah, thanks, Pramey. I think this is like burning hot topic now in a lot of organizations. And earlier, employee benefits, used to be a operational issue at an HR level. Now it's fundamentally become a board topic because, and I think it's what's happened during the pandemic. Uh, like I think lots of people realize they have one life to live, right? And employees, and you've got to sort of uh, make the most of it, right? So and fundamentally, you've heard about the Great Resignation that has taken place, where people are trying to go ahead and explore life on their own, and that itself puts a challenge up for organizations to in terms of attracting and retaining talent. So today, employee benefits, I think, especially under COVID, I think health has become top of mind. So how does and it's no longer about do I have medical insurance stuff? Is my work environment keeping me healthy? Is it making me feel good? Is there a mental wellness aspect to it? Is it do I have access to doctors when I need it, right? And when you have these kind of issues crop up, often what happens is that you need access to emergency funds or access to capital to make that happen. So that's also one of the constant feedback that I've heard from a lot of HR folks over the pandemic is that they have had massive requests from their employees to help them in the times of stress, right? And some of them have managed to do it, some of them have managed to not, but then you have people who leave after that. Then how do you collect the dues back if they are due? So I think it's a complex element where employees are craving for a lot more, and they're effectively in a lot of ways looking for employers who are caring. And how do you actually demonstrate that, I think, is a very critical aspect of benefits. It's the benefits has to show care and engagement to that element. It's just no longer, as you said, it's no longer about ESOPs and medical insurance and salary, and that's okay. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I know Savvy has also very similar mission, in terms of driving financial wellness for a lot of corporates, and then they want to engage with employers a lot. But one question to you was, how did you identify the need? And I know you did mention the medical and mental wellness, but what are the other top benefits that you see that can be used as attracting talent and drive retention?
Um, look, I'm not able to directly correlate some of the work that Savvy is doing for the
Hmm.
same, but I think that there is a if you think about employers, the employers today play a pretty pivotal role in engaging with individuals. Because if you think of us, most of us spend a large part of our time in office, right? We are
Yep.
spending 8, 9 hours in office, and it's almost a trusted relationship that you have, right? So for Savii, we look at employers as a beachhead to drive inclusion, to help employees make the right choice in terms of financial products, because there's a trusted interface out there, right? And if you think of employment as an asset, as your first asset that you have, uh, then there's a lot that you could utilizing that. So our entire philosophy is an inclusion philosophy. So our products are fundamentally about simplifying access to credit. But our view of doing that is that everybody must get an offer. Like every individual is different, and you got to tailor an offer from them. Some of them an individual may accept, some of the individual may not accept initially, right? And so our entire view is that, especially in the Asian construct, right, where there is a deficit for capital and access to credit, and often at the end of the month, people are trying to figure out how to sort of meet their last commitments, etc. Having an ability to access liquidity in a timely manner, in a safe manner, we believe that is our mission, along with employers as the beachhead to help drive inclusion, right? So for us, that's the critical element in this entire piece. We don't want to directly engage with employees, and to an extent, the conversations that we've had with Tartan, right, in terms of working together, because I think there is a direct alignment in the mission to help organizations use the information and data that they have with consent of their employees to provide a better proposition, and not treat one size fit all, customize where you can. And that's really true about caring. If you look at each of us, when we meet with each other, it's not that we have the same engagement technique with everyone. We know what somebody likes, what somebody doesn't like, what their behaviors are. And that's what we are trying to get to, right? We are at the beginning of our journey. We've done very well in Philippines, but India is often, as I said, it's like a continent by itself almost at times. So, you've got to take baby steps and then move forward.
Right. I think great thoughts, Arnab. So, one of my quick question is, when we talk to a lot of employers and customers, we realize that a lot of employers want to deliver good benefits, but we have seen the adoption rate typically is very low when an employer provides these kind of benefits. So, my question to you is, what are the best ways, learnings that you have seen from different models, to be able to communicate and create awareness about the benefits so that employees actually utilize them as well?
I think there are two aspects to it. So, the first aspect is that the employers themselves need to be wedded to the mission, right? And if the employers are not wedded to the mission, then it's very difficult to drive adoption within the employees, because and I truly believe that every individual is smart enough to figure out what is best for themselves,
Hmm.
and if that intent is not how would I say, almost true from the employer, the employee sees through, right? Then they almost see it as, like a tick in the box exercise that is going on. So the employer investment in making the product work or the solution work is extremely important. That's number one. The second
Hmm.
point that happens is that, how do you choose your service provider? Because sometimes it's very difficult to create everything in house. Right? There are a few corporates, especially some of the large IT BPO companies, have managed to do a lot in house. Right? But
Hmm.
things are changing in the market, and right, every day there's new solutions that are available, right? And employees themselves, that information arbitrage that used to exist has fundamentally disappeared in the digital age, right? Everybody can access and Google and get information, right? So
Hmm.
the ability of the service provider to engage through the employer,
Hmm.
right? In different ways, whether you're doing, um, some people might want to do a physical workshop. That's how they get interested and engaged. Some people are happy to listen to, just get onto an app and start working it through. And we all know about this curve of early adopters and all of them. So you've got different kinds of behaviors. So you've got to figure out 3 or 4 different channels. Like you almost need to think about a multi-channel or omni-channel approach. Like you think about e-commerce omni-channel. This is the same aspect of employee omni-channel that you have to create to reach out and figure out what works. And the other piece is being patient,
Hmm.
uh, because I think the traditional model has always been, do you have a one size product, you fit it across everyone, right?
Hmm.
But if you're going and saying everybody is different and needs, then everybody walks at a different pace, talks at a different pace, and they will also adopt at a different pace. So I think sometimes patience is what's required. If the intent is right, patience will make things happen over a period of time, right? But I don't think there is a magic bullet out there that you press it and boom, it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So one another aspect, what we have learned, and probably would like to hear your thoughts on this, is probably a lot of organizations have started, deploying resources, HR resources dedicated for employee benefits. But many organizations cannot afford to do that, because that means they need to hire more, they need to deploy more money around it. So how do you see that technology an employer can best utilize to make sure the products, or these benefits are being delivered to their employees, and they can show that they care? It is not just they are employed, but they actually care for their coworkers.
No, I don't know. I think it's a tricky one, right? It's not easy, right? So the one of the reasons employers bring in their own people to drive benefits, etc., because it's control and it's a brand, and there's a sense of what I call almost immediate confidence, because it's all being built in house and you're curating it and so on and so forth. And it's been designed with your own thinking in house, right? When you have an external service provider come in, there's always a at the end of the day, it's a commercial proposition. Everybody's got to make money, otherwise the service doesn't work, right?
Hmm.
And that fine line of providing benefits, making things easy for the employees, while ensuring that either the solution or the service level is truly being catered for that employer's employee base. Often there's that little trust deficit, if I have to call it, which needs to be bridged. Sometimes it is bridged because uh, you see the product and the solution and you believe that it's going to work. Sometimes it's the individual that's on the other side that creates trust for you. Sometimes it's just walking through the experience and experiencing for the next 2 3 months and making it work, right? So I think employers would not have too much of a choice but to look at external providers. But I also, if I was sitting as an employer when we are trying to roll out benefits for our employees, you're also, you know, a bit, you got to be, you want to be careful to select
Hmm.
the right service provider to ensure that you get the right outcomes, right? So it's a bit tricky. But the one thing that I truly believe, and I'm a massive believer of what I call operating data, right? So
Hmm.
the more ability to get operating data and
Hmm.
utilize that, and organizations have that, and maybe work in partnership, right? So our philosophy out here is that while organizations can share information with consent with their employees to us, we would like to share information back to the employers and the employees so that
Hmm.
they can benefit from them in their journey and give an understanding. We're not quite sure what that would look like, but hopefully, the question that you had asked earlier, or maybe it will help in hiring, retention. Maybe it'll help employees see their employers in a better way. Or maybe it'll provide an opportunity for employees to figure out what works best for them.
Hmm.
But yeah, but it's got to be a two-way process. It's got to be symbiotic. Otherwise, it's very hard.
Uh, Also, I think I would like to understand the perspective from the other side, basically from the employees, the workforce, the co-workers side. Basically, is how do they see an organization when these kind of services are provided to them? What are the expectations like, that when you have teams that come back to you and ask for, demand the things, etc. And and also, how does that help you build trust and bring a long lasting relationship? Because we know that, especially in this geography, and not just in geography, globally, gone are the days where people are sticking around for 20 years with one organization, right? So, and gone are the days where they will look at very differently the job and the life, right? Very, very differently. So, as one, I would say, and now everybody looks differently. So, what is your perspective that you have seen from the other side?
Look, as an employee myself, right, and even to that extent, right, my expectations and what I also hear from other employees is that are you heard,
Hmm.
right? So within Savii, we've got a process where we actually do a pulse check of the employees on a extremely frequent basis. This is not a like voice of employee once a year and you take it, etc. This is generally, how are you feeling today? What does it, what does the day look like for you? You know, and once you start getting that inputs and the insights and feedback, and you're able to go and take those insights and go back and say, hey, you know, over the month of July, we received this feedback, and in August, we are able to provide this back to you. And it could be, sometimes it's just having a conversation. That's what's required. Just having a timely conversation, which is, and putting it out there is, I think, helpful. So what I'm fundamentally saying, I think employees expect timely intervention. That intervention could be ranging anything from a benefit and access to credit, to a mental health checkup, to a conversation with your boss, to a coaching session, to it could be a bunch of different things,
Hmm.
right? But I think the ability to figure out what is the timely intervention and not have it on a mechanical roster, like every 6 months I'm going to do it, I think is what employees are expecting, right? Your ability to get assistance and help when you need it
Hmm.
is, I think, is a sort of key expectation. And therefore, for organizations to keep listening, to keep hearing, and have a pulse on it, and use the information and data to then provide back solutions, I think could potentially be the way forward.
Super. I think it was great, talking to you, Arnab. I think some of the great thoughts and the points that how the technology can, also help employers do their job better when they are trying to engage with employers. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, and so early in the morning. So thank you so much.
No, thanks, Pramey. Appreciate the opportunity and all the very best. Quite excited to be working with Bati. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, Yashu.